Hey guys, how's it going? How are you doing today? I hope you're doing good. I'm just outside, starving. So yeah, I'm just having a sandwich and some chips. Go grab something to eat. I have a story. Want to hear a story? In case you're new here, hi. My name's Rami. This channel is just an eating show channel. So I don't really focus on the food. I focus on talking to you guys, and you know, we have each other's company. So yeah, that's actually what a mukbang is. Is an eating show. It's not a stuff your face, sauce all over the place, gorging yourself. So it, I don't know, the Americans just went crazy with it. I might get to 2 stories. We'll see. The first story is about a young man named Ted. He was 21 years old, and he was going to Dartmouth University, very prestigious university. Very nice university. Mr. Smarty Pants. He lived in a dorm. And as you know, there's lots of people that live in the dorm with you. You had roommates. And this was during Prohibition. Now, Ted was a very good student. He got very good grades. He was in the Honor Society. He also was part of a, like the college had like a newspaper, you know, that they would put out. Ted wanted to be a publisher. He wanted to publish stories and stuff like that. That was his dream. That's what he was going to school for. Maybe journalism, something like that. So, but it was during Prohibition. Now, Ted had never used anything improper, ever. And he certainly had never drank because it was during Prohibition. Wow. One evening, one of his dorm mates came into his room where there was a bunch of other students, and he said, "Hey, look what I have." And sure enough, he had a flask, a bottle, small bottle of whiskey. And everybody was kind of excited about it, you know, and they were scared, especially Ted. Like I said, he had never done anything like this. He wasn't around people who had done things like this, so to him, he was kind of, you know, freaked out a little bit. However, you know how it is. You're 21. There's all these guys around you. They're all doing it. So the bottle starts getting passed around, and he partakes. They're having a good old time. On the dorm room door. And they're like, oh, it's the counselor. You know how all the dorms have like a couple counselors? They thought it was one of the counselors. So they quickly hid the bottle. And one of them opens the door. It's the coppers. It's the police. The police, or that somebody called the police. I want to know who that was. Anyway, the snitch. Never mind. You'll understand in a minute. Cops came in. They could smell it. Everybody is pretty, intoxicated. Where's the bottle? I don't even know where they got it, but where's the bottle? They handed the bottle over. Cops are like, look, we're not going to do anything, okay? They kind of felt like maybe these guys had learned their lesson. They seemed pretty scared. Just a minute. Hold on. Sorry, it's the day before my daughter's wedding. It's tomorrow. So I'm getting a bunch of, we're just finalizing some things. It's just crazy. Okay, so where was I? The cops felt like they were pretty scared and pretty convinced that they had learned their lesson and weren't going to do this type of thing again. But they said, we're not going to press charges or arrest you. We are telling the college, though. Ted was freaking out. He was in honors. He had academic honors, extracurricular activities. He was the head of the newspaper, a writer. He didn't know what was going to happen. So he got called into the dean's office. He knew this was coming. And he thought, this is it. They're going to kick me out of school. They didn't. But they stripped him of all of his academic honors and extracurricular activities, which meant he could no longer be a part of the newspaper. Now, to you and me, that might not be a big deal, but to him, that was his thing, right? That's why he was going to school. That was how he expressed himself. And he was really good at it. Really, really good at it. So he was pretty upset, and things kind of continued on with his classes. But it really bothered him about the newspaper. It really bothered him. He saw the newspaper every day. He would read it. He could tell the newspaper wasn't what it was before, at least that's what he thought. And because he could not write in the newspaper anymore, and he was so desperate to do so, he thought, well, wait a minute. Other people can make submissions to the newspaper to potentially be, highlighted in the newspaper. So other people were submitting articles, interviews, all this type of thing to the newspaper, and the newspaper would either, pick and choose which ones they wanted. Maybe your work would get in, maybe not. And he said, what if I made up a fake name? He goes, I'm going to make up a fake name, and I'm going to start submitting my stuff. So he did. The newspaper went crazy. They absolutely loved his stuff. They loved it. They actually asked him for more. So the whole rest of the time he was at Dartmouth College, University, he was submitting these articles underneath this pen name that he had established for himself. He ended up graduating, and he went on to become a publisher. In fact, he even went on to become a Pulitzer Prize winner. The pen name that Ted had chosen to submit his articles to the newspaper was Dr. Seuss. So that snitch, I hope that snitch heard about that. Everything fell into place. Yeah, Dr. Seuss. Pretty cool. Pretty cool story, huh? I love stories like that. So yeah, he went on to be kind of a political antagonist, and antagonist probably isn't the right word, but most of his children's stories were about the political climate at the time. So pretty cool. My second story is a little darker, but very interesting and shocking. I'm going to get the years wrong, so I'm not even going to try. There was a man who had committed a horrific crime. Horrific. And whatever state he was in, he was sentenced to, okay? And the day that this was to happen, the news media showed up and took lots of pictures of him as he was escorted into this very large building. And as he walked into the building, escorted by many police, they didn't want him to run. At the far end of this huge concrete building, he saw a chair, and he knew what that chair was for. And they walked him over to the chair, and they sat him down in the chair, and they strapped him into the chair. And across the room from him, he could see this large white curtain that had 4 slots in the curtain. And he knew that there were people behind these slots. And so a priest came over up to him to give him, some words or, whatever. And he looked at the priest and he said, "Just do it." And the priest was like, "Okay." So he walked away. Everybody left the area. And as he had requested, out of those 4 slots, like he knew, he could see the barrel of and by firing squad. So years later, there was a man who was trying to start up a company, and he had the capital, he had a partner, and he was trying to set up this company, and he was doing really well, but he needed to come up with something. He needed something that was different, something that would stand out from other companies. And he was racking his head, and he just could not think of a thing. That was years and years and years and years later. Well, this same man also liked true crime, like a lot of us do. Why do we like true crime? I don't know. And he had remembered this story about this guy because the press had, all over the newspapers. And he just couldn't get what the guy said out of his mind. He thought about it all the time. And yeah, it just really set with him, you know. And so he decided to use it for his company as the logo, the phrase, the logo. And that phrase was, just do it. I'm telling you, sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. Anyway, I'm gonna look at that differently now for the rest of my life. That was so random. These stories that I'm telling you, I have heard from one of my favorite storytellers, Mr. Ballin. Mr. Ballin, sir, I know you will never see any of my videos, but I just want to thank you for your service to this country. Thank you for all that you've done for this country. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, I will link it below. And if you haven't heard his story, please take a moment to find out about him and let him tell you. I'm not going to tell his story. It's his to tell, not mine. But these other stories, yeah. So, you guys, oh my gosh. It's so weird how one, two things in somebody's life can, like, the trajectory, you know, can just goes to the moon. Wow. But I mean, I guess everything has to have a story, right? It's just not every story is like, not every story is so, dang, you know? So, as I mentioned, tomorrow is my baby girl's wedding. What? I don't even know. Mind blown. But it's happening. So, any advice? Any words of wisdom? We're also meeting his family. You guys are like, what? They've been together for 8 years. We met his family one time. I've talked about it, but I have a lot of mental issues that are not okay. Like, literally that are not okay. And I try to be alone as much as possible, which I'm actually fine with. But I'm very nervous about this whole thing. I'm excited about her getting married, but the whole family thing, here's how I feel. Now look, you guys, this is how I feel. Me, my husband, and my son are not marrying his family. My daughter is marrying him. And in turn, that means that she will have a lot of interaction with his family, which she does already for holidays, all kinds of stuff. But I'm not marrying the family. And I feel like in the society, just like if you have a abusive mother, father, whatever, you're supposed to like just put up with it, and well, their blood, you know, it's your mom, well, it's your dad, no matter what they've done to you, you should still, you know, why are you the problem? Why are you causing problems? You need to stay with them. You need to communicate with them. I have always been of the mindset that that's absolute junk. That's garbage. What? It literally, that is crazy making. In what world? What if it was your boyfriend? Would you say that to a person? Would you, if the boyfriend was abusive, would you be like, well, you should stay with him? I mean, he's your boyfriend. No. So why is it different with family? Why? Because we share DNA? Well, I can't see my DNA. My DNA isn't helping the situation at all. Can I pull it out somewhere? Is there like a balance on it, money wise? So I feel the same way about this. I'm not marrying the family. So the thing that's making me nervous is it's like, I think that there's going to be some expectations on their end, and maybe I'm wrong. Probably am. My anxiety gets the best of me, always. But, mm-mm. I'm just not, uh, yeah, no. I'll stay over here. I just literally can't, you guys. I can't for my mental well-being. I can't. Mm-mm. I have learned my lesson. Like, I have been on the edge, you guys, looking down so many times. I cannot go there. And stuff like that causes me to. It's not my fault. It's my illness. And I'm not going to apologize about it anymore to anybody ever again. You know, if people have a problem with it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. That's unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. And it's real. Unfortunately, it's with me every day. I literally, I can't work. Well, I'm too old now anyway, but well, I mean, technically not, but you know what I mean. I'm disabled. I can't. I can barely drive anywhere. Well, I don't be around people or like talk to people. Like, I'm talking to myself right now. If you think about it, like, you're watching me right now only because I uploaded this video, so it seems like I'm talking to you, but I'm actually in my breezeway. There's nobody around, and I'm talking to myself. I want to be talking to you guys, but you know what I mean. I lose it. I couldn't trust myself. But anyway, I didn't mean to get into all that, sorry. I saw this whole thing on MUKBANGs last night where people were just like supposedly eating 20 pounds of hot dogs, 20 Big Macs. I don't know why this girl was, it was 20 of everything. And they're faking it, and what do I care? I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. This is a free country. I know they're talking about getting rid of excessive food waste on TikTok. And I'm like, really, I have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. People are like, oh, these people are buying so much food when there's all of these people over here that are hungry, and these people are wasting food when, they could buy food for these people. Why is it their responsibility to buy food for these people? I'm just asking because let me give you another example. What about all these influencers on TikTok who are buying clothes? Like, I'm talking for the love of purses, clothes, and you're like, oh, no, they're brand deals. Yeah, some of them are, but they're buying furniture, clothes, all kinds of stuff. What about all the guys that buy like all these like really nice cars or trucks or whatever? It's like, are we going to be like, wait, that's not fair that they're buying all excessive amounts of cars when this person over here has to take the bus? Absolutely not. This is a free country, and as much as I don't like it, as much as I don't watch it, as much as I don't watch it, I don't want to see it, I'm disgusted and shocked by it. It's a free country. If you want to take a bottle of ranch and dump it all over a hamburger and then shove it into your mouth, and people are watching it, and I'm not a part of that. That's called capitalism. I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's a free country. Although I think TikTok's owned by China, right? So maybe it's a China. I don't freaking know. Okay, all I'm saying is there's people who buy excessive stuff of like thrift shop hauls, Target hauls, Temu hauls. It's like, why aren't we saying that about them? Just because people have money and are spending it on something that other people don't like, or doing something with that money that other people don't like, it's none of anybody's business. If you want to put it on the internet, 100% agree with you guys. They're going to get opinions, 100%. And everybody has the right to put their opinion down as long as it's not like hateful or bullying. Yeah, absolutely. But that's where it should stop. Like, don't start limiting stuff like that, because that's a slippery slope. So anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the stories. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.